At 41 years old, LeBron James is doing things in an NBA game that most men half his age cannot. On Thursday night, at Crypto.com Arena in Los Angeles, the King delivered what many are already calling one of the most efficient individual performances in Lakers history, draining 13 of 14 field goal attempts for 30 points in a 124-116 victory over the Houston Rockets, a win that extended Los Angeles' winning streak to 7 straight games with the final month of the regular season now underway. The number that stopped everyone cold was not just the 30 points, it was the shooting percentage. LeBron shot 92.9% from the field, making him the first Laker to score 30 or more points on 90% shooting since Shaquille O'Neal did it back in 2003. He also matched the single-game record for most made field goals without a miss in a first half across his career, finishing the opening 2 quarters with 8 for 8 from the floor. 6 of those baskets came on dunks, as the veteran ran the floor, slashed to the rim, and dominated the dunker spot throughout the night, in a style that looked nothing like a man in the final stretch of what is already the longest career in league history. The shift in LeBron's approach did not happen by accident. According to league sources, the turning point came in the days following a difficult loss to the Denver Nuggets on March 5th, when James sat out for roughly a week through March 12th. During that stretch away from the floor, coaches noticed something change. LeBron had the rare opportunity to watch from the outside as Luca Doncic and Austin Reeves ran the offense without him. When he came back, those same coaches described a renewed sense of purpose in how he carried himself in practice and in games. He stopped trying to dictate the offense the way he had for 2 decades. Instead, he embraced a complementary role, cutting hard, crashing glass, and letting the ball find him rather than chasing it. The results since that return have been extraordinary. Luca Doncic, for his part, was equally dominant on Thursday. The Dallas trade acquisition finished with 40 points and 10 assists, including a dagger 3-pointer in the closing minutes of the 4th quarter that silenced whatever hope Houston had left. With his team trailing by 1 and the Rockets defending with a double team, Doncic pulled back behind the arc, let it fly, and buried the shot cold. Over the current 7-game win streak, Doncic is averaging 38 points, 9 rebounds, and 8 assists per game, with 3 separate 40-point performances included in that span. The MVP conversation surrounding him has grown louder with every passing night. Houston entered Thursday looking to build on the momentum of their only win over the Lakers this season, a 119-92 blowout victory on Monday. Kevin Durant tried to keep pace, finishing with a floater-and-one sequence in the 3rd quarter that briefly gave the Rockets a 4-point edge. Durant has been Houston's entire offense for much of this season, and that burden was visible. The Rockets have made life difficult on their own best player by forcing him to initiate possessions rather than receive the ball in favorable positions. He was held to just 2 points in the first half before settling into a more natural rhythm after the break, but by then, the deficit had grown too steep to manage. The Rockets closed within 1 possession in the final 3 minutes, but the Doncic triple effectively ended the contest. With 7 straight wins and the season entering its final weeks, the question being asked across the league is whether the Lakers are genuine Western Conference contenders or simply a compelling story. The honest answer, according to those watching closely, is somewhere in between. Los Angeles has a top 2 offensive unit in the conference when all 3 of their stars are healthy and aggressive. The combination of LeBron's intelligence, Doncic's creation, and Austin Reeves' off-ball scoring gives opposing defenses no clean options. But defensively, the Lakers still have real vulnerabilities. They are trending upward, showing more activity, more deflections, and better help rotations than they did early in the season. But the gap between Los Angeles and the top 2 teams in the West remains significant. The Oklahoma City Thunder and the San Antonio Spurs have built their rosters specifically around defensive identity in ways that the Lakers simply cannot match at this stage of their construction. The Eastern Conference picture is equally compelling. Jason Tatum returned to the Boston Celtics lineup in early March, following an injury absence, and on Thursday delivered his 3rd double-double since coming back in a win over the Golden State Warriors. His minutes have climbed steadily from the mid-20s in his first games, back to well into the 30s now, with the Celtics medical staff targeting full 40-plus minute availability before the playoffs begin. Tatum still shows traces of rust quicker than he was right after the injury, but not yet at the level that made him an all-NBA player. Those around the team and the broader league believe another 3 to 4 weeks of game action should bring him close to 85% of that form, which would make Boston a frightening prospect in May and June. The Detroit Pistons continue to hold the top spot in the East, but the race beneath them is genuinely difficult to forecast. The New York Knicks remain the team that many within the league point to as the most dangerous matchup for Boston specifically, given their size advantage inside with Mitchell Robinson and Karl-Anthony Towns. The Knicks used that combination to beat the Celtics in last year's playoffs with a healthy Tatum, which makes the current postseason bracket all the more fascinating to contemplate. Meanwhile, the Atlanta Hawks have now won 11 consecutive games, a run as surprising as anything the league has produced this season. Atlanta moved out Trae Young and reshaped around younger pieces, including Jonathan Kuminga, and their upward trajectory has been undeniable. Their remaining schedule, however, is among the toughest in the Eastern Conference, and most observers believe their playoff ceiling is limited by a lack of experience and the fact that they are still in 9th place in the East despite the 1-1 game run. Finally, the ongoing tension between Giannis Antetokounmpo and the Milwaukee Bucks front office deepened this week after Giannis suffered a hyperextended knee on Sunday, his 5th injury of the season. The organization has formally asked him to shut down for the rest of the regular season. Giannis has refused. He wants to play. He is frustrated that the conversation is even happening. The Bucks, sitting 6 games out of the play-in tournament with limited time to climb back, have effectively nothing to gain from putting him on the floor in meaningless regular season games. This standoff is the latest in a series of disagreements between the two sides that began when Giannis wanted out at the trade deadline and Milwaukee declined to move him. The relationship has not recovered. Whether a summer trade or buyout resolves things remains unclear, but the larger NBA community has largely arrived at the same conclusion. It is time for both sides to move on and find environments where they can thrive separately. Do you think LeBron James still has enough left in the tank to carry the Lakers deep into the playoffs? Or is this 7-game run more of a hot streak than a true sign of championship readiness? And where do you see the Eastern Conference bracket shaking out once Tatum gets back to full strength? Can Boston handle the Knicks again? Drop your predictions in the comments below. And if you want to stay locked in on the latest NBA news and analysis every single day, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss a play.